This was going quite well on that. Hi, welcome to this very first episode of my knitting podcast. This is quite awkward and weird talking by myself here to a camera, my phone, but here we go. I hope you enjoy and we can have a fun time together. My name is Manon. I come to you from the very south of the Netherlands. I'm a programmer by day and also a horsey girl, and when I'm not doing that I really love to knit, which is what I'd love to share with you, and this is the reason for starting this podcast. I really enjoy watching other people sharing what they're doing, what they struggle with, what they enjoyed, how their projects turned out, and I'd love to share that with you as well. So I've been knitting for about a year and a half. The very first year I just wanted to pick up knitting again after knitting as a kid, like a scarf, a hat, a few very simple things. So I just ordered yarn that looked nice on a website and some needles, not even sure if it was the right size, but just doing whatever. Made quite a few mistakes there because I didn't buy a pattern to make a sweater and that went terribly wrong. Anyway, that is still a very good joke that my husband likes to tell. But so since 6 months I've been actually knitting patterns and learning a lot, and it's been very, very enjoyable. So let's go. Let's jump straight into a finished object, which is what I'm wearing. This is the Agnete Tee by Petiteknit. Really enjoyed knitting this one. Knitted it, I think started in April, finished in May, and I've not worn it since, and I'm going to tell you why. It's very enjoyable to knit, so it's not because of the pattern, it's because of some choices that I made. So first of all, this is just like a simple tee, so short sleeved. It's got the eyelet with stripe pattern that is very nice. It knits up really quickly because you've got every few rounds you've got like a new little thing to start, so it's like, oh, let's get to the end of the stripe or to the end of these eyelets. So it's very, very, very enjoyable. It's basically a raglan construction. You start with basically casting on until the first end of the raglan stitches, and you knit back and forth first to shape the neck. Then you do join in the round. You continue and start the repeating pattern, of course, split for sleeves, cast on some stitches in the underarm, continue the body, pick up for the sleeves and knit those. There's some ribbing at the bottom, what's it called? The collar. It's not a collar. What is it called? Maybe the collar? Is it the collar? I'm not sure. Anyway, this little bit. Which is double folded, and it's very nice, and there's a nice little pearl round just before that to make it quite neat. So it's absolutely lovely. I made a few mistakes doing this. They're not like mistakes that I didn't read the pattern correctly, but I wanted it to have quite a bit of positive ease, so I went up a size. I knitted size M, but I also chose superwash wool, and those two combined basically added 2 sizes to what I should have knitted. So I should have done either the one or the other. Considering this is a t-shirt, so it's worn on the skin, I think superwash wool is not a terrible idea. And I mean, I did swatch, so I knew it was growing, but as the swatch grew a little bit, and I feel that this grew a lot more because it's so many more stitches, so I was still a little bit surprised when I blocked it. I didn't stretch it when I blocked it or anything, but after the first wash it just grew substantially. I knitted this in Hobbii Extra Fine Merino, which is a superwash merino wool. It's fingering weight, and the mohair is from Drops. It's a drop kit silk, which is lovely, but it's very, I don't know if you can see it, it's very fluffy. Let me show how fluffy it is. So it's absolutely gorgeous and nice, but for a t-shirt it's maybe a little bit on the fluffy side. And this mohair is very nice to look at, but it's just a little bit itchy. I don't have any problems around my neck, but I feel it on my belly a little bit. It's just a tiny bit itchy. But the main thing is the size, that it's a little bit a little bit too big. I'll stand up in a bit and then you can see it. Because of the size being this big, the armholes are quite deep, making the sleeves really, really big. I would have preferred if they were just a little bit more fitting, I think. So for next time I would not knit all the way down, I would stop earlier, and then the sleeves would be quite a bit more fitting, and then the body would be a bit more fitting as well, because you would not have so many increases coming down the raglan line. So that's just personal preferences, but it's a very normal t-shirt shape, so it's not that the pattern does anything weird really. So that is one. And then another thing that is quite annoying, and for this I will stand up, is I basically knitted it too long. And once again, not the pattern, I knitted it too long on purpose, thinking because it was a little bit boxy, and I could see that once I had split for the sleeves, and I did the sleeves before I finished the body, so I could tell, and I thought, let's extend it a bit because then it won't look as boxy. However, I think in hindsight this length would have been a lot nicer, but I kept on knitting, which, like this, if I pull it down, it looks quite nice, and then if you move, because of these eyelets, I now have this really nice sticking out weird shape. And this was even worse before blocking. All of these were like that, so I looked like a sort of an accordion. It mostly came out, but then when the bottom is pulled up a bit and then rests on my hips, you still get it, and it looks really weird, to not say anything worse. And this is just, yeah, how this works. And I'm not sure so that these eyelets should go all the way down. Maybe it would have been better to stop, I don't know, at the waist, and then just do normal plain stockinette going down. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it better than just stopping earlier, and then you don't get the accordion shape, which is, yeah, really too bad, and why I don't really wear this one. So yeah, there we go. I made very few modifications. For the ribbing, you're supposed to change to 3mm needles. I didn't. I did half twisted rib. On this one I did full twist for the first part, and then I was afraid that it was really going to taper too much, and so I changed to half twisted, so I would twist the knit stitches, not the purl stitches, and just did the normal bind off, and they look pretty similar, but yeah, so it's a little bit neater, and so I did that the same for at the bottom. Sorry, you can't see it, I'm looking at it, but and just gives ribbing that is a little bit more neat, so I really like to do that, and so I would definitely recommend doing that if you want very neat ribbing. I can't remember if I did that on the collar. No, that looks like just normal ribbing. Probably because I was afraid that it was not going to be elastic enough. If I did it in twisted rib, it would probably have been enough, because what stops it to be more elastic than this is that it's knitted down here. The collar is like folded back on itself and then knitted back to itself, and that's the least elastic part. So the collar itself could easily be twisted rib if you would like that. So this is my Ida tee. So in terms of yarn usage and how much it cost me, I've got a spreadsheet over there because I'm a really big nerd. I used 5 balls of the merino, and so that is from Hobbii, and that cost €442 per ball, and then 5 balls of the mohair, and that was a very nice offer of $3.55 per ball. At that time, I can't remember where I got that, a Dutch web shop I think, and then the pattern was $6.70 from Petiteknit, and the total for this t-shirt is €46.55. So it's not too bad, but just very much too bad that I'm not wearing it so much. So I might just wear this inside, or actually if I'm just working from home and no one is seeing the lower part, then I will actually wear it, but I'm not going to wear it outside. So would definitely recommend this pattern, but don't make my mistakes. Moving on to whips. So what am I working on at the moment? First one is 95% finished. Let me show it to you. So, oh, there we go. There goes the wool. Come back here, you. Okay, there we go. This is the Champagne cardigan by Petiteknit. I promise I'm not just going to knit Petiteknit patterns, but when you start out, it's absolutely great because they're very, very clear. If you're a beginner or advanced beginner like me, or however you want to call it, you like to try really nice garments, but you still want good instructions, Petiteknit is absolutely amazing. If you're more advanced, I understand you want to do other things, but let's not hate on Petiteknit too much. So, Champagne cardigan. This is quite a simple cardigan, to be honest. It's sort of like a raglan construction. Let me show it to you before I keep talking about it and not sharing anything. So it looks a bit crumpled up this way, but I will put a picture on the screen of what the finished object should look like. So as I was saying, it's kind of the same as the t-shirt I'm wearing. You start at the back and then you increase with like German short rows to do the shaping of the back, and then unfortunately you don't knit in the round because it's a cardigan, but at some point you finish the shaping and then you just go back and forth and you do increases along the front edge and of course the raglan lines on both sides of the raglan for quite some time, and then at some point it stops for the sleeves because the sleeves are big enough, but you continue a little bit further on the body. The yarn I'm using is Hobbii Friends Wool, which I got loads of when I just started knitting, so I've got an enormous stash of it and I'm trying to use that as much as I can. At first I was thinking of using some more of my stash for the mohair, using Hobbii Diablo, but just a bit scratchy, so I went with the Drops Kid Silk. This is I think cream colorway and this is champagne. So just to show you, there's a bit of marling going on because they're not quite the same color, but I actually really love that. Let me show you what it looks like if I move the bit in the light. So it's not super obvious, but I really love the effect. I stopped midway talking about the construction, didn't I? I think I got to a part where you knit back and forth. At some point you split for the sleeves, so you put the sleeves on hold, you continue the body, you do the ribbing on the body, then you go back to the sleeves, do the ribbing on the sleeves, bind off all of that. And then where I'm at is I've started the bottom band, which is a double knit bottom band. It looks really nice and really squishy. I really love it. I'm just about to start the last buttonhole, and then I'll be able to just knit double all the way all around the collar, all the way down to the other side, and then I can knit on some, I can sew on some buttons, block it, and then the one tiny thing I did is under the sleeves, you decrease every, I think it depends on your size, I think, but I'm knitting the size S, and I think for me it was every 8 rows, but I'm not 100% sure. And on one side you do a knit 2 together, and then on the other side you're supposed to as well, but I decided to do an SSK so that both stitches are going different ways, since it's 2 different sides of the sleeve. I don't know, it's maybe tiny details, but I enjoyed doing that. I knit the bottom here as it is supposed to be, so you don't change to smaller needles for it, but I'm not 100% happy, so I didn't do a half twisted rib, and I'm regretting it a little bit, but it's quite a lot. If I take this out, it's going to take me another 2-3 days to redo it, and also with the Italian bind off. And if I do the half twisted rib, it's gonna take me more yarn, and so I won't be able to do it as long with the yarn that will be left. So I will have to join more yarn if I want to do the same size, which I do like how long it is. So I'm not 100% sure about this one. Oh, in fact, I can't do that. It's not even an option anymore because I've joined the button band and it's attached to the ribbing, so I can't even take that out, or I have to take the entire button band out. Not going to do that. Too bad. That will be for some other time, for another project. But that's a small regret I have. It doesn't look as neat as the sleeves, which I have done. Oh, let me put them right. I have done these in twisted rib and they look so nice. Anyway, so that's something to learn from this. I think I got just about the right amount of yarn for this. Or I'm gonna have to look through my stash and find some like lost balls somewhere, half-used balls. But yeah, I hope that by next podcast I will have this one finished. So this is whip number 1. And because it's knitted, I think I forgot to say that, it's knitted on 4.5mm needles, so it's quite fast. It's really nice to see it coming together like that. And then the double knitted button band, of course, is on 3mm needles. But yeah, it's really nice to have something on big needles because my other 2 projects are on something much, much smaller. I should have finished the row so I could show you this properly. But this is the Amy Slipover by Sandnes Garn. I'll put a picture on screen of what this is supposed to look like when it's finished. But this is the top. There we go. So the neck, the collar will be attached here, and then the 2 shoulder pieces will be attached there. And then there's quite a few projects on Ravelry that say pick up a few more stitches, which I think I will do, so that the neckband is a little bit more fitted. And then so you start, it's very, very straight. It's just a straight piece of knitting, and you knit all the way down with this like nice little edge detail. And you knit up until I think it's a certain length. It's not even a certain amount of rows. And then you increase, because this is the piece that's going to go like behind your armhole. So you increase for a few rows and then you continue straight until like a certain length. Then you add ribbing at the bottom, and then you will pick up back up like first the left or the right. It doesn't really matter, but one of the 2, join in the front. And then knit the entire front part, same story, increase for the armholes, continue going down, and then add a bit of ribbing, and then the entire ribbing on the side is done on both sides, and then you add the, what do you call those straps? Maybe not. The bands? The ties, that's it. At the end. And I think those are done in the same way as the ribbing on the side, but I think I want to do those in double knitting. That or I-cords. I'm not 100% sure, but then do 2 I-cords instead of just 1. So I'm not sure, but I'm not there yet. Getting close to finishing the back. I think I need a few more rounds here, and then I can add the ribbing. I'm knitting this as per pattern on 3.5mm needles. I wasn't sure that it was going to be the right needles, but I swatched and it is. And this is a really lovely colour. This is really at the end of my balls, but that sounds weird, sorry. This is knitting for Olive Bordeaux, and this is also knitting for Olive but claret, so just a tone lighter than the Bordeaux. And I saw that on Knitting for Olive, the Instagram, where they do all the swatches, and I love that they do that because it's so nice to be able to get some inspiration for colours. And I really, really love the colour, and it really changes if it's like darker. This looks really, really dark red, and if it's sunny you really see the lighter shades in it. So I really love this fabric. It's very soft, Oh, my screen just went dark. Hello. Wake back up, computer. It's really, really soft. It's very nice to the touch. I think I only want soft, good quality mohair from now on. Thanks for spoiling me knitting for Olive, but great. So yeah, this is amazing. This is one of those Sandnes Garn patterns that unfortunately you can't just buy by itself. They don't offer it on Ravelry or anything. You have to buy the pattern book. I know that in the US it's been a bit of a problem to get it. You have to also buy the quantity of yarn to go with it from Sandnes Garn to get the book, and then you've got like 10 patterns when you just wanted one. But I think the pattern book is like, or at least in the Netherlands it was like €9 something, which is a little bit more than what one pattern would usually cost. Now you've got 10. So yeah, it's an okay price, and I was able to get it in a web shop, I think the Breiboerderij, which had really good service and is amazingly fast at sending your stuff. So if you need any yarn, they sell quite a good variety, and they're very, very fast, and they've got good patterns. So there you go. So that is whip number 2. And then on to the last one, which is a bit of a neglected one really. This is the Agnete Cardigan, also by Petiteknit. And I've got extra mohair. Where did I get that from? Anyway, how did I get this all tangled up? Oh, there we go. There we go. This is the right side up. Anyway, Agnete Cardigan by Petiteknit. So I'm knitting 2 cardigans because I started the spring-summer season, knitting this one, but thinking, okay, I'm not really going to knit like camisoles or that many more t-shirts. But what can I wear that I can finish during summer and still wear, you know, at least in the evening? And what will I be able to take into autumn as well, and maybe winter? And I came up with cardigans, also because I don't have that many cardigans in my wardrobe. So I thought it would be a good idea, and 2 cardigans seemed like a great idea. Not knitting anything in the round at the moment, and I'm really missing it. So the next project will definitely be in the round. That's like very important. But anyway, the Agnete Cardigan is super, super nice. It's like super squishy because this is brioche. That's why it's been sitting at the bottom of my project bag, because brioche in itself is not too bad. It's just that it's quite slow, because you have to basically knit twice the amount to get 1 row. So I need to do 4 rows to get 2 of what looks like just 2 rows, like 1 right side, 1 wrong side. It's knit on 3mm needles, so they're quite small. But I mean, look at this. So this is the back piece. This is what, well, it's not a raglan seam, but it's where a raglan seam would be at the back, and this is going to come over the shoulder, and then in the front you can see the increases. Oop, let me put that correctly, and it is beautiful. I just really love how it looks. It's just, it takes forever to knit, but another great thing is that you knit the bottom band on at the same time as you knit this, so you don't have to go back and pick up all the stitches and then still knit a bottom band when you're finished. So that's an upside, but this is quite a bit of work, and it's I've neglected it for quite some time now in favour of projects that were knitting up a lot faster, but I should pick it up. I'm knitting it with part of the recommended yarn. This is Tynn Pear Gynt from Sandnes Garn, so it's a thinner version of the Pear Gynt. It's Norwegian wool, so it's quite, I wouldn't say, no, it's not rustic. It's not as soft as merino, but it's perfect for a cardigan which you are wearing on top of other clothing, so it's perfect. Still nice and squishy, and the mohair is drops, once again. Yeah, I like the combo. There's not a lot of marling. The only thing you do see, and that's the downside, which is why I would not use drops mohair for darker colours, is that, I don't know if you can see it, but this way. It's really, you can see the thread, the silk thread is really white, It's just really too bad because you can also see it in the knitting. And it's okay from a distance. You don't see it too much, so it's not terrible or bad, or it's not going to stop me wearing it. But in the future I want mohair where you don't see the white silk thread. I want the silk thread to be dyed as well. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. 0 modifications on this one, so that's good, completely according to pattern. Construction for this one, if I remember correctly, because well, as I said, I've left this one at the bottom of my project bag. I think you start with the top of the neck, the bottom band, neck band, here at the top. Then you put stitches here on hold, stitches there on hold. You start knitting the back and increasing on both sides. What am I saying? Not until here. You knit the bottom band up until here. But so you do the back piece, and then once you reach the length for basically where you're going to join the underarm, I think, not 100% sure now, but something like that, where you're going to join later, you pick up the shoulder piece along this side, and then you also pick up the stitches that you put to rest here of the neckband, and then you knit all of it, and you start increasing, yes, here, because this will be the front of the cardigan, like the front middle, and then so this you should keep on knitting until you get to, well, the same height as where the back panel is. Then you do the other side, the other shoulder, which will then be here. And then you can attach all of those, and well, not quite knitting around because once again cardigan, but you can knit back and forth the entire width, the entire width of the cardigan, and then once you're finished with that, you pick up sleeves and do those. But I'm not there at all. I don't know, in a couple months maybe. So anyway, that is for the whips. Okay, and then last but not least, let's do a quick little, well, it's not going to be quick, but acquisitions. It's not going to be quick because I got quite a bit of yarn over the last month. And this is also going to lead into what the next projects basically are going to be. I ordered some hand-dyed yarn, which is absolutely lovely, from Tôt Matin yarns, which is an indie dyer based, I think she's based in Brittany. Anyway, she has gorgeous colours. I think she mostly specialises on pinks. If you love pink and you want the most beautiful ones, I mean, definitely recommend going to see what she does. I'll put a link in the description so you can find her website. She does really, really, really beautiful skeins. Skeins. Okay, hello, I am back. But yeah, I got quite a few. So first of all, I hope this is not going to crack too much. It's in a paper bag. This is going to crack. Anyway, first one is an extra skein of something I did get at Christmas, and I only got 2 skeins thinking it would be enough, and then when I looked and looked, I was like, it's not going to be enough. So this is TOT ASC. So ASC stands for 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk and 10% cashmere, and it's an absolute dream. It's so soft. It's also relatively light because I also swatched in this. This is 2 different needle sizes, but it's really, really soft and squishy and drapey and ultra light, and it's absolutely beautiful. So I think this is the 3.5 needles, and this is the 3mm needles. So the way I know this is that I'll put 3 knots in one of the yarns, and if there's no knot at the bottom, it means it's just 3mm. So this one has 3 knots for 3mm, and 1 in the top one here for 3.5. If I ever get needles that are 0.75 or 0.25, I'm in trouble because I that is not going to fit in my system. But anyway, they both look really nice. I'm not sure I want to get into a project that is 3mm, so I think I will go with the 3.5mm. The idea is to basically do this t-shirt with this yarn, but change the pattern. If you know the Rigmore Tee by Petiteknit, so it's basically like, I think it's a clover tee. There's quite a few designers that have made a very similar tee, but the Rigmore Tee by Petiteknit is knitted bottom up, and there's no way I'm doing that. I want to be able to try it on. So that is the case with this construction. So I'm going to reuse that, redo basically the same yoke, because this looks nice to the modifications I talked about. So stop a bit earlier for the sleeves so that they're a bit more fitting. But instead of doing this pattern, I'm going to do like 4 little eyelets in sort of like a diamond shape. So it's very, very simple, very easy. And I just need to look at what size I'm going to do it with, because I'm not quite hitting gauge with this yarn. So I probably will again do an M, but this does not grow when it's blocked. What is a tiny bit, but like hardly anything. So I should be okay. And being a little bit on the gauge, it should be fine. I just need to calculate for the amount of stitches I will have where I put the eyelets. But that is the plan with this one, and it's so soft. I can't wait to work with this. It's absolutely amazing. So, oh no, this one, Tôt le Matin yarns, and this is the colorway canard, which in English means duck. I remember when ordering this, I thought it was going to be a bit more green because of the name, but it's very much blue grey. There's a little bit of green in there, but I got used to the color, and it's how soft it is. It's just absolutely amazing. It's the softest yarn I've ever touched. It's brilliant. Okay, that was the one. Bloody hell, this is going to be a very long podcast if I keep talking like this. Second skein I got is this one, which is MSC from Tôt le Matin, which is 70% merino instead of baby alpaca, but also 20% silk and 10% cashmere. So it's very soft, very squishy. It's not as soft as the alpaca, but it's very close to that. And basically I ordered quite a lot of yarn, and I think I was just under the amount for free shipping, and so I was like, well, it's going to be a very, very cheap skein if I just get an extra one. So that's why I only got one. And my idea is to make a scarf with this, like a scarf with lots of lace probably, but I'm not sure. So this is going to be like sort of for whenever I decide to make something. The project is not quite it's not, how do you say that, written in stone? Anyway, flexible. And then the last, but definitely not least, skeins I got from this. I got 4 skeins of this one. This is the same as that green one, which in fact, this is a colorway jaspe. So it's a stone in French, like a very green. So it's not an emerald, but something a little bit like that. But anyway, beautiful. And this colorway is one of her pinks that is absolutely amazing, and it's clematite, so clematis. And it's, I mean, look at it. I've kept all the skeins but one in the skein because they look so beautiful. It's got a tiny bit of speckles, but not too much, and then there's not too much difference in tone, which I love, because I think skeins, like hand-dyed skeins, can be so beautiful when there's lots of colours and you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, and then you knit it up and you look like some child painting, which, okay, if you like that, go for it. I mean, it can look beautiful, and especially if you pair it with the mohair, I think it's absolutely amazing, but it's way too busy for me. I'm very much a classic girl who likes plain colours, so this is already quite wild for me. And this I'm pairing with, where did I get it? With mohair, because otherwise it's impossible to get gauge, and it was going to be too thin. So pairing it with this mohair from Knitting for Olive, and they're a bit different, but I wanted to make this pink just a little bit darker and deeper, and it worked with that. So what I do, instead of ordering big quantity, okay, for this one I ordered a sweater with quantity because it's hand dyed, so every batch will be different. But for more, how should I say, commercial yarns, I will order just one ball or skein in advance to test it. So that's what I've done. I just ordered one of these to do a little swatch, and I've got it here. I've got my box of swatches. Yeah, and this is what I got. So okay, close up to the camera, you really see the marling, but look a bit further, and okay, maybe it's the light, you still see it quite a lot, but I kind of like it. It's not as obvious. I mean, closer to the camera, you really see it, but a bit further, it's the effect that I wanted. It's just a little bit more on the red side. It's a little bit darker, and yeah, it's a little bit too bad to pair a hand-dyed skein with a commercial's mohair, but I need it. So what I'm gonna do with that, and this might tell you what I'm gonna do, it's better if it has like another, like no background, but this is gonna be the Orchid Bloom Pullover by Sari Nordlund. My only trouble is I've heard that her yardage can be quite off because her test knitters are only allowed, or the deadline is quite, how should I say, they don't have a very generous deadline, and they're only required to do the yoke. So usually she has like lots of lace on the yoke, and they're only supposed to like finish, so the test knitters are only supposed to, or they're allowed to only finish the yoke and then do one sleeve, just so that they can test that the pattern instructions work, basically. But that doesn't tell you anything about how much yarn you need to complete the entire project. So I've heard that can be a bit off in a pattern, and so I went on the safe side and got 4 skeins instead of 3, which would have been very close. But on this one, I'm almost on gauge. Close enough that I'm pretty sure it will be okay. With the lace though, and I did both of these on the recommended needles. With these, I'm way off, and I'm a little bit scared because you start. It's like I'm trying to change up constructions to try out lots of different ones. So I've done drop shoulder already. I've done raglan. This is going to be a round yoke. So you first do the entire round, and then you will add German shoulder rows at the back under the yoke for a bit of shaping. I'm hesitating a bit if that's going to be good enough, but I mean, I'm going to try. But since you start with the lace, if that is off, then you're going to have to like unravel the bloody whole thing. And so I'm a little bit scared that the size is going to be way off because this is, I can't gauge. Or, so either I go up a size and hope to God it works, or I go up a needle size, but this is already quite, well, I mean, it's lace, so it's supposed to be holy, but is it going to look good with just going up a needle size? I might do another swatch just to be sure, because I don't want to waste this really beautiful yarn on something that's not going to look the way I want it to look. So anyway, that was the last skein from Tôt le Matin. Let me put that away. It's going to do crack, crack, crack. And then more crack, crack, crack. Second acquisition of the month is I had gotten this one ball of yarn from Knitting for Olive to try out with the hand-dyed yarn when that came in, and I was very satisfied. So I ordered the required amount for the entire sweater. So there we go. There's this one, and then there's the ball that I did start with, and this should be enough. So that's that part. Then I got more cracks because another paper bag, which is great. It's good packaging. I prefer it to plastic, but it's not great for audio. Cotton merino, because this, I don't really wear camisoles, but I saw this one from Cézanne. It's a French brand that really tries to embrace Parisian fashion. They're really good for inspiration for nice knits, because you can find a lot of similar patterns on Ravelry. There's a few YouTubers that have made good videos about that. There's Nestle and Knits that has made a Cézanne inspired patterns video, and what's her name, Andolini Knits, I think, who has done one but a couple of months after, so there were new patterns by Cézanne. Anyway, both worth a watch. I will put the link in the description. But anyway, they have this beautiful lace camisole, and I can't find a pattern that would look like it, and I had this crazy idea of freewheeling, of trying to do that, but I'm not going to make it in wool because I did that for a summer piece and I'm not wearing it. So I thought cotton merino would do the trick. This is the colorway cream. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, by the way, this is forest berry, so for the orchid bloom pullover. But back to the cotton merino. It's a little bit more elastic than just normal cotton, which is why I thought it was going to be good. I'm not sure when I'm going to have time to make this, but since it's basically just a body, there's no yoke, there's no sleeves, I hope it will knit up a bit faster. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that this summer. Anyway, so that's why I got 3 balls of this, which should be enough for a camisole. Put those away. More crack. And then I got, once again, sort of test collars. I got 4 different mohairs. Yeah, this is plum rose, this is poppy rose, and cherry blossom. And first I'm going to show you the merinos that I got to pair it with, and then I'll tell you what it should be for. More crack. This cherry blossom, I think this is poppy rose, and wild berries. And the idea is to do a couple swatches and try out for colours, because this is going to be for my mum. It's for birthday and Christmas and next birthday and next Christmas, basically, because it's going to be quite a big present. So I sort of bought myself some time. This is going to be, I think it's called the Late Summer Wrap by Knitting for Olive. It's this really nice, in French we call that a cache-cœur, is what you wear in ballet class first to keep yourself warm, and then once you start to get sweaty and everything you take it off. But it's this like cross, I don't know how you call that in English, but a wrap but with sleeves, so it's not just a wrap. And then I think it's a double knitted band to tie it down. But anyway, it looks really, really nice, and so yeah, I'm gonna knit that for my mum, but she needs to decide on the colour first, and she's not someone who likes to look at colours on a screen and then decide and be sure. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna get the actual thing and knit a couple swatches after discussing this when she sees it in real life, and then she can choose which ones she likes, and then I'm gonna be 100% sure that she will actually really like the colour of it, because I don't want to knit a whole project and then that she won't wear it because she doesn't like the colour. That would be too bad. And whichever balls I don't end up using for the projects, I'll make something out of it. I don't know. Might do something colour work, like a hat or a scarf or something like that. Anyway, that's very, very flexible for the future. We'll see about that. And then this is gonna fall off my lap if I keep holding it here. One last one, which I'm not probably actually gonna use, but I've got this beautiful cashmere sweater that has moth holes in it, and I want to fix it. I'm really looking for this lace weight cashmere, and I thought I would try the Knitting for Olive cashmere, compatible cashmere. It's the right colour. This is Morning Haze. It's not, there we go, now it's focusing. It's very nice, but it's not the right texture to go with the sweater to fix it. I basically need to perform surgery on it. But it's such a beautiful one. I don't want to throw it away or keep on wearing it, and the holes are going to get bigger. But it's not quite the right thread. You're really going to see it. So I think I'm going to continue my search for the right surgery thread. If you know of a cashmere that's really, really lace weight, so even thinner than this one, and about this colour, can be a little bit darker, it can be a little bit more fluffy as well, then I'm all ears, because I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I got this, but so I don't know what I will do with this. Maybe I do a little scarf or something, because it's not going to go in the sweater. That was it for acquisitions. Let me put everything back in the bag and it's going to go. Okay, I think that is it for this time. I hope you've enjoyed my very first podcast. It's been quite weird, but as I kept going, it became a little bit better, or I felt slightly less weird. Don't know if that's a good thing. Anyway, I hope to see you soon. I would love to hear what you are knitting at the moment. It's always great to discover new patterns, new ideas, also new combinations of yarn, colours. Sometimes it's very unexpected and very, very good. So drop that in the comments and hopefully see you next time. Bye!